Jefferson Robbins with NCW Life, which, as you may have heard, became part of a new media family this week. The Wenatchee World, owned by Wick Communications of Arizona, acquired our TV station, NCWLIFE-TV, from its former owners at LocalTel. LocalTel, in turn, was recently purchased by Ziply. That deal just recently completed. This deal became effective October 1st. This TV station and the Wenatchee Valley's oldest newspaper are part of the same enterprise. What does this mean for you, the viewers and readers in the community? I'm joined by two gentlemen who might have the answers to that. Riley Needler, the Chief of Staff for Wick Communications, and Sean Flaherty, publisher for the Wenatchee World. Thank you both for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Jefferson.
Really appreciate it. Maybe I'll turn to you first, Riley, for this question. What led Wick Communications to want to make this purchase of NCW Life?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously we've known of NCW Life for a long time. You know, I'm from the Valley originally. I worked for the Wenatchee World for many years as a reporter and photographer. And, you know, we've always been aware of the great things that NCW Life is doing for the community from a news and advertising perspective. And I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, these days, as news consumers, we're not tied to a specific platform, right? We get news on our phones, on our TVs, in print, online, everywhere. And so this partnership just made a lot of sense. And was, when it came across our desk, an easy answer for us, which was yes.
Now, the two of you have been involved in media for some time. Riley, you with Wick. Sean, you're also on the board of the State Newspaper Association.
Yep. Yeah, WNPA.
Are you familiar with any other relationships like this, say, in the state of Washington, where a newspaper and a TV station have close ties or mutual ownership?
You know, for the most part, no, especially not at this level. I think it's a really unique opportunity, and that's because of NCW Life. There is, I believe in Spokane, maybe there is an ownership relationship that maybe precedes some things when television first came in. But that's on a different scale, right? That's network affiliation and such. And I think when you're talking about local news and local brand and local presence, there isn't anything I'm aware of like this.
So how do the two of you see this relationship progressing? How would the two enterprises best work together? Riley, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I think for now, we're focused on learning about the NCW Life operation. You know, we, again, see so much value in the work that is already being done by the staff that works here every day. And so for the foreseeable future, from the reader and viewer perspective, very little is going to change. So the broadcast will still be available on local cable, so both LocalTel TV and Charter Spectrum. It'll still be available online through the website, through YouTube, through social media, and the same on the Wenatchee World site. So, you know, our customers, our subscribers are still going to be able to get the same information and news they were always getting in print and digital in the same places. You know, we are going to work together on both sides of the operation to figure out really how we can expand. So there's always more news locally, even in a small place like Wenatchee, than we have the time to cover every day. There's more small businesses who are trying to get the word out about their services and their products than they have the time to dedicate every day as well. So this is not an area where we see a lot of consolidation in the near term. And I think that's a big question that people have is like, does this mean that the two brands are going away? There's something new coming? And the answer right now is no. This is a cup that is not full. There's more to be done on both sides.
From a news perspective, Sean, this brings me to the question, you know, your organization, the World, and NCW Life have for a long time been sort of chasing some of the same stories, trying to get ahead of each other, occasionally breaking news that the other one missed. We've had a competitive news environment. Do you want to see reporters and news directors between the two entities collaborating, or do you want us to pursue, you know, parallel paths where there's some kind of continuing competitive relationship there?
That's a really good way to phrase that. I think what Riley was saying initially is that it's important that we do what we both do best right now, and we understand and learn how those things can fit together. And I think we'll probably be doing some strategizing in the coming weeks as we head into the new, for us, budget year. And we have to understand how things can best fit together. And it probably means some big ideas, and it probably really starts with doing some little things that we can execute together and make sure everybody gets what we need out of it, right? It might be some stuff in high school sports where we've cover preps, and you guys do an amazing job with it. Maybe we can put something together, and I think a lot of those good ideas are going to come from the staff, so there will be a little bit of work trying to get them to be comfortable sharing with each other.
How was the news received in the Wenatchee World building? We got the news here at NCW Life yesterday, and your staff over there got the news. How was it received?
You know, I think pretty well. We have We have two businesses. We have a manufacturing business that prints our paper and others, and we have the media business. And Riley and I stopped at the media side first, talked to news and advertising, and then we went over to the production side. And really what made me feel good at the at 9th Street, our World Printing facility, is we had a couple people, one who's kind of a junior press person and somebody from packaging, and then one of the managers that were really excited about it and thought this was an amazing opportunity. And that's not to discount the media side, but we have reporters over there and they're very focused on asking hard questions that we don't have the answers to right now. And we have salespeople over there that are going to be working with in the same market right now, and we have to figure out, people, there's no one more competitive than a good salesperson. So we don't have all the answers to those things, but I see us moving together, and whatever this becomes, it's going to be different than what we're doing right now, and that's change, and change is going to be difficult. And I know that there's a lot of people in this organization too that have been kind of wondering and where that's going to go. And now they have more questions, not more answers.
Now that brings up another question. In media acquisitions, oftentimes we see the media entities have to shrink, have to cut, have to furlough, have to trim back. Do you see, Riley, in the near term, any changes along those lines for either the World or for the NCWLIFE operation?
Yeah, there's nothing in the works for that right now. But I would think about this from, it's easy to think about it from the perspective of Wenatchee and what these two organizations have done in terms of the Wenatchee ecosystem in the Valley. But I think about it from the kind of more global perspective of what's happening across the industry. There was a report out that within the past decade, a fifth of newspapers in Washington alone have closed. We hear those all the time, those stats that 2 or 3 a week are closing across the U.S., let alone the investment or lack thereof that's being made in local broadcast and other local media. So I think about this from the standpoint of we're committed to seeing local journalism continue in the Wenatchee Valley. And to that end, we are a stronger organization together. There's just no question about it. We can reach more people, we can reach more advertisers, our new subscribers will get more information. We have the ability to collaborate and cover certain areas in ways that we didn't before, rather than writing 2 versions of the same story that came from, say, a press release or a breaking news event. We can do it complementary in different mediums and take the extra time and capacity and go out and do the longer, more investigative stories that we as reporters and former reporters like to do and that readers like to read. So I think it really is just going to extend our reach and our ability to, over time, serve the community better.
One of the questions that came up from our community and from readers and listeners and viewers was, well, the Wenatchee World operates on a paywall system, subscription system. If you have a subscription, you can read everything. If you're not subscribed, you will hit a paywall eventually. Do you foresee a paywall system in place for NCWLIFE content?
Again, no plans at all for that right now. And I mean, it also, I think, doesn't quite fit the medium that y'all are accustomed to working in, right? So by its nature, local TV is different from kind of online news, paywall content. But at the same time, while that's not in the cards now, in the long term, local journalism needs to be paid for, right? So it's a thing that keeps all 3 of us here employed every day. And the way that the community can support this is by subscribing to their local newspaper, is by donating to things like local radio and public broadcasting, is by shopping at advertisers who choose to advertise in our mediums. So if you're going to Doghouse Motorsports or a Chamber of Commerce member, Saintstrom Motors, all these people who are choosing to invest their dollars in supporting not just getting their word out, but supporting local news. There are a lot of places that people can advertise now. You can go to Facebook ads and place your own ads. You can go to Google ads and do the same. You can call up Amazon and do the same. But when you invest those dollars here, you're making an impact in more than just getting your word out. So,
yeah, and I would add to that. I mean, the Wenatchee World produces and shares an awful lot of information and news right now for free. We have daily headline newsletters that go out every day. We have them by subject matter. We have the stuff that goes up on social media. And if you want to read deeper, then you can, and you need to support the website to do so. But as Riley said, right now the model is not destined to change, but I think that we already do some of both right now. It's part of how we pull people in. I mean, they need to understand if this is for me, if I want to know what's going on in my community, I want that depth of reporting, then right now, at least with the Wenatchee World, that's been what we require. And it gets frustrating for people, but what NCW Life is doing here with free access to the news that you're producing is not different from larger TV markets, right? And the Seattle Times competes with Cairo and King 5. So I think we kind of knew going in, and honestly, our model for our paywall changed this year, and it changed 2 years before that. And it was wide open during COVID. So we're learning and iterating as we go. And I think the important thing is that, Riley and I, and then the whole team we gotta learn what each other do and then figure out how that's gonna work best.
And on the subject of paywalls, it's true that during major emergencies, things like COVID, wildfires,
Yes.
the Wenatchee World has always had a policy of dropping that paywall and letting people have the crucial news that they need at the moment.
It is true. It also, though, confuses people because they don't know why or what dictates what's going to be free. They just know they got a glimpse of a story once and not another time. And I think that helping as we go along the way to communicate with our two audiences, what we're doing is going to be really critical because other people we want them to understand what we're trying to do as we figure it out. So communication's supposed to be the business we're in, so we'll try to do a better job of that.
Yeah.
How much did we cost, Riley?
So we aren't disclosing the terms of the deal, as you can imagine. But I will say that this, for us, again, was an easy decision. Because, again, we want to not just support the local news and work you're doing, we want to carry on the legacy that the Mendelis family and LocalTel have carried on from Apple Valley TV, and the same that Wick has done with the Woods family. This station will remain locally managed and family owned. That's rare. That is rare. And it's sitting alongside a newspaper that is locally managed and family owned. Also very rare. So,
other thoughts from the two of you before we close, Riley?
No, I mean, I would just say, please be patient with us and work with us as we figure out the future for what this entity looks like, both the Wenatchee World side and NCW Life. It's easy to reach us. So Sean likes to say you can reach him as easy as you can reach anyone else in our organization. I'm the same way. You can find Jefferson's contact info if you'd like to share feedback about his news as well. Please, we do want to hear from folks about what they want from their local media entity. So,
anything else we should know, Sean?
It's just a very exciting time in media on the very local level, but also on the very large level. There's a lot of change going on, and that can be exciting. It can lead to opportunities, and so I think this is great. I mean, I really do, and I'm looking forward to it. We're only a few blocks walk down from each other, and we already are collaborating on other levels too with grant-funded journalists and things like this. It's a very different and exciting time in media, and I'm glad to be part of it.